Hey, what's the deal, man? We back in the building with the Great Debate, the C Bake podcast with your host, C Bake, aka known as Charles Baker, back in the house or back in it, the studio with my boy Gerard Cole, Rude Boy. What's up, man?
What's good, man? Lot to talk about, man. New York is going through it right now. We going through it, man. This Knicks talk about Donovan and RJ. The fans are clashing on Bleacher and on Twitter, everywhere, man, about what we want and what we need. But anyway, I'm gonna let you go into that when we get there.
Yeah, we're gonna get there, man, because I know you got a lot to talk about, as you should, man. Y'all should be tired of losing, but we'll get to that. We definitely gonna start talking about this NBA season. But before we get to the Knicks, before we get to that, I want to first say thank you always to Mo Serious and Chuck, man, for this opportunity. Man, we appreciate everything y'all do for us, the Most Serious family. Again, Gerard, man, to all my family up there in New York, man, we thank y'all for this opportunity. We thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes,
Let,
sir.
us get right to it, man. Yesterday came on Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Shout out to them. The topic came up about Kevin Durant and the Nets, as where it was reported that the Nets and Kevin Durant have decided to move forward despite all the drama that's been going on. And if you, in case you didn't know, and you should know if you're a real sports fan, everybody knows about Kevin Durant kicking up dust, saying he wanted to be traded. Him expressing all the time that he was unhappy and he wanted to leave. Well, it's been reported starting yesterday or maybe the day before that it seems like the Nets and Kevin Durant have come to an agreement, and that agreement is that they're going to move forward with the season with him being on the team. I also think that's with Kyrie Irving. So it looks like, despite that, with all the reports that were going on and everything that was said, that Kevin Durant and the Nets have decided to work things out and move forward. Um, and Cole, let me ask you this: how do you feel about that? About the situation, about how everything played out, and tell me how do you feel about that for the Nets in the season, the 2022-2023 season in the Eastern Conference?
So first, I'm gonna start at the beginning with your original question, how I feel about how everything happened. I'm not feeling that at all. I felt like Kyrie and Durant kind of took over this organization, started making all the calls. I think sports is changing like that. Back in the day, GMs the GM jobs, and now the players are the GMs because they know they can cause this guy to leave the job or a female, whoever's in the position. But it's just crazy because they signed DeAndre Jordan because Durant wanted that.
Right.
Dude is washed up. I'm not saying he's washed up, but like he's the end of a bench. Udonis Haslam, victory tour, center. And I just feel like we accommodate him every way, and now all of a sudden, some type of adversity, like he always does, he runs. Started in OKC, and then he ends up going to Golden State probably because Draymond Green gets in his face and challenges him, and he doesn't have everything easy. Then he ends up going to Brooklyn, and Kyrie acting up. Harden wants to be traded. Things don't look easy. He wants to run again. And that's like his MO. Like I respect him as a player. I think he's probably, top 5 in the league, but I just don't like his approach when it comes to just being a winning player. For all the skill and acumen that he has when it comes to basketball, like he needs to be better, man. And then
Right.
Kyrie weird. So he weird. I feel him on some of the stance he takes. And for the donations and how he gives back to the community and all that. But that dude weird, man. And sometimes I don't think he really wants to play basketball. So, but he's probably the most talented person I've ever seen handle basketball in my life, man.
Right. Right.
Seriously, man.
Right. And the
Man.
thing is, and you know, let me ask you this, because I agree with a lot what you're saying. You know how I feel about Kevin Durant. But with everybody staying, I mean, and I got to give a shout out to the Brooklyn Nets because I think that's exactly what you're supposed to do as an organization. You're supposed to put your heels in the ground. You're supposed to say, no, Kevin, we paid you a contract. We gave you a lot of money. We accommodated you as far as this organization. We chose you to be our leader. We followed your direction and your lead. We gave you the respect that you wanted. So we gave you a contract. We built this team the way you wanted to be built. And so we're not going to trade you. We're not going to accommodate you. Not in a sense that, we're trying to be negative, but again, we've invested in you, and we understand. And I can understand why he was upset. You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he was upset because they underperformed last year. But I gotta give the organization kudos, because again, that's exactly, if I'm in that management chair, if I'm in that owner's chair, that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes you got to tell these dudes
Mm-hmm.
that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. And emotions are high sometimes when people make demands. But back to my original question, where do you see the Nets next year? I mean, of course, that Katie is back. Kyrie looked like he's gonna at least be there for another season. Um, you got the Ben Simmons thing. Oh my God, Jesus. You got
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons there. Where do you see them as far as standings? Where do they finish in the East? And if you have them going to the playoffs, where do you see them going?
I have them. I definitely have them going to the playoffs. They're keeping them for the whole entire year. I think they're going to end up re-signing anyway. They'll put some stipulation in Irving's contract, but as far as this year, like I really believe they're a top three team in the East.
Right.
They have too much shooting around them when it comes to Joe Harris, Bibby, and people forgot about T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren was buckets in the bubble, and he
Right.
was getting better every year since he left Phoenix to Indianapolis, and they pick him up. You got Ben Simmons at the 5. You can spread the court at all times. Let everyone ISO or let Kyrie penetrate, kick out, or you're gonna have to double Durant, or it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be Showtime basketball if Irving plays, to his potential. And you got, what's his name? You got Ben Simmons. To me, I think he's the most underrated player in the NBA. He's one of the only players that you could say in the NBA that doesn't have to score a lot, but has so much impact on the game. And there's not a lot of dudes that could do that. And this dude fills up the stat sheet. He'll have 15 rebounds, 22 points, or even if it's 10 points or whatever like that, he'll put freaking 15 assists with that. Like, them boys is going to be a problem next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they take the East.
So you see them. So you saying that you see them possibly going to the NBA championship?
I could see it because I still don't believe in Harden and Philly. Um, I think the Bucks is the only team that could stop them. But I think if everyone's hitting on all cylinders and all their shooters stay healthy, because you could slow Giannis down with Simmons. Simmons is probably one of the only few people besides Kawhi Leonard that I see slow Giannis down a little bit, a tiny little bit. And that's not slowing down. I'm talking about kept him to 30 points, but the type of 30 points where he worked for the 30 points a little bit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But freaking, I see him doing it because Durant is going to average 26. I think Kyrie is going to go ham on the league. He's tired of being the punching bag, and he's on a contract year. I wouldn't even be surprised if he led the league in scoring this year, man. Like Kyrie is going to be next world. Yeah, they take it east. I said it here first. They take it
Taking
east.
the
And
East,
this is a
man.
Knick fan. And this is a Knick fan. Unless we get Donovan Mitchell, that's another story.
I
Maybe
know
I'll
we're
change
gonna
my
talk about that, but let me say this, man. I mean,
mind.
golly, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. If all cylinders are go, talent wise, and what they should be able to do, you got Kevin Durant, who can get buckets from anywhere. 7 foot tall, can handle, can shoot, can pass. We know the offensive talent that he is. And of course, Kyrie Irving. I mean, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go in deep discussion about that. I haven't seen nothing like that as far as body control, like Rod Strickland handles. I mean, he's probably got the best handles I've ever seen on the NBA court. I mean, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about street ball and all that, but I'm talking about on the NBA court. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody with a better handle. Um, but here's my question marks, and here's why I don't have them winning the East. I'll start with Ben Simmons. Um, great talent, great talent, great defender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my problem, and I told you this before off the air, I can't trust the guy who quit. And the reason why I say that is because, and I've posed this question to you in the past, and I'm gonna pose it to you right now. Nobody, including yourself, up to this point, when I talk about Ben Simmons, and I even throw my man AG, shout out to AG in Philadelphia. We had this conversation, but nobody can tell me exactly what happened with Ben Simmons. All we know is, and I'm talking about the media, I'm talking about the Philadelphia media, I'm talking about the national media. All we know about Ben Simmons is this: he was unhappy. Nobody can tell us, nobody can definitively say that he said that this is what specifically he was upset about. Now, you could come back and say, and some people will come back and say that, well, it was Philadelphia, it was the crowd, but everybody knows that Philadelphia has a raucous crowd. But everybody also knows that Philadelphia, as raucous as that crowd can get, they're very loyal. But even that, even on that point right there, you getting paid millions and millions of dollars. You're a professional. You're supposed to block that out. But as far as the organization, I don't recall anybody saying anything negative about him while he was going through his crisis or whatever you want to call it. I don't recall anybody saying, Ben Simmons is not doing this. He had a breakdown, a mental breakdown in the playoffs to the point where he didn't want to shoot the ball. He would get next to the basket and he didn't want to shoot the ball. And all we know from Ben Simmons is he didn't want to play in Philadelphia no more. Nobody can tell me what it was specifically, what it was, or I don't even know if he can tell us specifically what it was that made him want to get out of Philadelphia. They gave him everything. I think he was all defensive team. He was an all-star. He had substantial success in Philadelphia. And so everything that was going on, even when he didn't shoot the ball in the playoffs, even when he faced adversity, I don't hear nobody from Philadelphia saying, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. And so in my mind, the guy quit. Now, I could be wrong. That's my personal opinion. I mean, it's my podcast. I can give my opinion. And I'm pretty sure for all of you who are pro Ben Simmons are going to say I got it wrong. But I'm telling you what it looks like to me. It looks like he quit. There was nothing specifically he said that he was unhappy with. He just said he didn't want to play in Philadelphia. That's number one. I can't trust a guy who quits. And even if he did point to something, it's adversity. Everybody that wins a championship or is on the pathway to winning the championship, you're gonna go through some adversity rather. So I can't trust him, Gerard. Now, what you say about his what he brings to the table, if everything works out, and I'm not a Ben Simmons hater, I hope it works out. Everything that he brings to to the table, his passing ability, his defensive ability, I think that helps the Nets out tremendously. I think he's a transcendent defender so far. I do think there's some validity to your point about him being able to match him up with Giannis. I don't think nobody stops Giannis, but I think he's definitely a great matchup for Giannis. I think he makes it harder for Giannis to do what Giannis wants to do. And I think if all is well, I think I agree with you. I think he can make Giannis uncomfortable to the point where you can affect Milwaukee's ability to win in the playoffs. But I can't trust a guy who quit. And I can't trust a guy who when seems like when things weren't going well, and I don't see anything from the organization. I just see things didn't go the way he wanted it to go as far as his play. There's no outside thing that he points to that says this is why I'm unhappy. I mean, I'll give you another example. Yeah, let me say this. I'm gonna let you rock on this because I know you got a lot to say, and I hope you're right because I know you're more positive on Ben Simmons. But like even with James Harden, I'm not a James Harden fan, but I've been a part of the James Harden experiment in Houston. And so when he left Houston, I mean, I was a little disappointed, but I understand because in his mind, the way we built this organization down here, meaning the Rockets, we built everything to fit his skill set. And so what he was saying was, what I believe he was saying was when he was leaving Houston is, I've given everything I can give, everything that y'all have given me, we just can't get it done. And I think in my heart of hearts, I think it was a subliminal message from James Harden saying, I was the number one guy. I was the king. You guys gave me everything I wanted. And based on that, I couldn't get it done with the organization. So let me go. Let me go back to being Robin versus being Batman with KD and Kyrie. I can understand that in the sense that I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try something new. So it's something there that you can point to James Harden. You may not agree with it, but it's something there that says, okay, I want out. I want to try something new. I understand that. I may not agree with it, but I understand it. Versus Ben Simmons, I still don't know what it is. I don't know what it is outside of himself and his play that warranted him to want to be out of Philadelphia. So I can't trust that when it comes to winning, because and we'll get in this in a little bit about the Knicks, that it's going to be adversity. To this day, and nobody can tell me why he wanted out of Philadelphia outside of himself.
I think if you really want to think about it to a deeper level, I don't want to say he quit. I think he just lacks emotional intelligence. And I think that he took the criticism of his coach next level. But I think that's because probably the way he processes things. I think because I see with students every day working in education, I feel like certain like you trying to reprimand them or telling them how to do better or be better. A lot of time that's taken in an offensive way, like aggressively from a student, from a person. And I think that way that he was picturing the way that Doc Rivers tends to like motivate his players or points to the facts. Some coaches are straight shooters and they're gonna speak the facts. And I just felt like that got to him. I don't think it was him quitting, but I think he also understood after the process when he wanted to be traded, he understands that players have all the leverage. Players have all the leverage.
They do have all the leverage, but I mean, let's be honest. You didn't play well.
But you're thinking it from a standpoint of someone being like, you know what? F them, yo. He played me. They did all this, whatever. But he's coming at it from a lack of emotional intelligence in the situation. He's allowing his feelings towards being criticized, and it probably scarred him a little bit because when you criticize and it bothers you like that, it's typically because whatever someone said is either something that you've gotten over or something that you're currently dealing with. And I just felt like he was probably just dealing with the fact that he probably knows he has a shooting problem where he's just scared to shoot. He's scared to do certain things. So he doesn't want to go to the free throw line. He doesn't want to take a jump shot. And I think that triggered him. I think that being criticized triggered him. He got into his feelings and he's on some, you know what, I don't want to play here no more. It's like when you.
But at the end of the day, though, I mean, you on a pro level, you ain't never been criticized. You ain't never been.
This generation different, man.
But they are different. But at the end of the day, here's the thing: even if you don't want to be criticized, like y'all didn't get it done, and one of the biggest things he got to understand this, and he got to know this. One of the biggest reasons why y'all didn't get it done is because you didn't want to shoot. You didn't work on your jump shot like you're supposed to. Now, I don't personally think when I see his form, it doesn't look that bad, but obviously he doesn't want to shoot it. He doesn't have confidence, which means he hadn't put in reps. So I don't understand. And again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I can't trust the guy because at the end of the day, it wasn't adversity that was unfair. It wasn't criticism that wasn't fair. Nobody was saying that he was a failure. It was just the fact that a part of what Philadelphia didn't accomplish in the playoffs had a lot to do with him. Now, there's other things, Joel Embiid needs to step up and Doc needs to coach better too. I'm not taking Doc out of it, but what's going to happen in Brooklyn? Because
most improved player,
right?
Most improved player this year. I don't know. Most improved player. I promise you.
I mean, that's your opinion. We'll have to come back on that, but that's reason number one why I don't trust the Nets. Reason number two is Kyrie Irving. Last year in the pandemic, I don't want to play. That's what he's telling everybody. I don't want to play. I'm going to take some time off. And then they end up finding him. He shows up on some kind of random podcast, political podcast, where he was helping people. And it's like nobody knows where he's at. You can't count on that. And as great as he is, I mean, he's one of the best. I can't count on him because here's the thing. If you do that last year, who's to say you won't do it again? Like
contract year, he won.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
money. It's a contract year. He wants that money.
But the guy still skipped games for no reason. Yeah. He skipped games for no reason, and that's one of the reasons why Harden left. Like, he wasn't in practice. He wasn't there. I can't trust the guy. Like, who's to say he won't have another mental episode? You know? And as talented as he is, and it makes sense to me when I'm going to say this statement, it makes sense to me that why he didn't win until LeBron got there. I think Kyrie needs that other solid guy, which brings me to Durant. I don't think Durant is that solid guy. And I've told you that before. And hear me out on this, because at the end of the day, Kevin Durant, as talented as he is, he's extremely emotional. I'm okay with that if you know how to deal with your emotions. Because at the end of the day, if you're emotional, that means if you're emotional, that means you want to win. But if you look at his track record, and I've told you this 1,000 times, and I tell people all the time, it's not that I don't like Kevin Durant. It's just the fact that I don't think he's that guy that he needs to be. I'm not going to say everybody that he needs to be. You're in Oklahoma City. You got a good young nucleus. And we find out later that it was 3 MVPs on that team. Him, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. They went to the championship. I don't know. I can't remember when it was, but when they were together in Oklahoma City and they faced a Miami team that was in their prime, and they went toe-to-toe with him and they lost. He comes back either the next year or the following year after that. They go to the Western Conference Finals or the Western Conference Semifinals, and they face Golden State. I think they're 3-1, and they have an epic collapse. I think they had the closeout game in Oklahoma City, and he collapsed. Turns the ball over. And the thing about it is, everybody that played on that team, from Russell Westbrook to Jeff Green to James Harden, everybody gave everything they had. And this was the time period for him, because he's an exceptional player with exceptional skill. That's what number one guys do. When everybody gives their all in all, and that's all they could give, you're the guy that takes it to the next level. And he wasn't able to do that. I was actually fine with that, because it takes growing pains to get to that level for young guys. He was a young guy back then. Okay. You lose, you go to Golden State. Okay. I think it was a cop out, but that's just me and you being from the 90s.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing stayed with the Knicks, and he tried to.
Reggie stayed with the Pacers.
Right. They stayed with the Pacers. That's us. That's our
Carl stayed with Utah.
Right. Yeah. But he decides that he wants to go to Golden State, to the team that he loses to. Okay. Not me and you, but in this era, okay. I feel like I can't win there. I want to go somewhere where I can win. He goes there. And I think Shannon Sharpe said it too, where everything is established for him. And what I mean by everything is established is he goes to Golden State, and all he has to do is score. He doesn't have to rebound. He doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have to be an assist guy. All they need him to do, because the pieces are already set. You got known winners. You got shooters. You got defensive guys. All the dirty work is done for you. You go there, you win 2 out of 3 NBA championships. I think the third one, remember, everybody got hurt, and crazy. And you go there and win. And I think that's what he is. I think he's a scorer. I think he's a guy that wants to get buckets and nothing else. Ooh, you do that, they don't validate you like you want to be validated. And so you say, I want out of Golden State because I'm not getting the credit that I think. And the credit he wanted, Gerard, was, I want y'all to recognize me as being that guy, the MVP. But you're not, because it's designed for you to score buckets. And that's what Golden State needed. At the end of the day, Clay, Steph, they're shooters. Yeah. And people are going to criticize me on this podcast. I believe Steph is a shooter. At heart, he's a shooter. I know he breaks people down, but that's not what he really wants to do. That's not his comfort level. Plus, his coach is Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is a shooter. Steve Kerr understands that you preserve shooters. So if you can get a guy that can get buckets, you bring him in so you can preserve your shooters. And Steve Kerr came under the Spurs tree where, you preserve your best players, So they understood that Kevin Durant gets easy buckets for them. They needed that. Kevin Durant in return wanted a situation to where all he had to do was get buckets. Because I believe, like Kevin Durant, like Carmelo Anthony, I think that's what they really want to do. When you start talking about, and that's scoring, when you start talking about MVP guys, you're talking about LeBron, you're talking about Hakeem, even Derrick Rose in his prime. An MVP does a little bit of everything. Whatever it needs, is most valuable player. Whatever that team needs you to do, if it's within your skill set, you do it. Rebound, get a key steal, key pass, knowing when to pass. Whatever the team needs, that's what you do. Okay. I believe Kevin Durant is a scorer. If the team need a bucket, he'll do that. But if it's a lockdown, I don't know if he does that. He goes to Golden State. He's able to do that. They don't validate him. He says, I want out. I want to go to Brooklyn where I can start over. And I'm that guy. And we're going to build from Brooklyn. I'm going to play with my man Kyrie. You know, I think the connection there is Nike, whatever. You know, they wanted to play with each other. Both of them are scorers. It's there. Harden comes. And then all of a sudden, now I want to be out of Brooklyn because things don't go the way I want it to go. And so what is it, dude? You go to Brooklyn, they give you everything you want. You want to be known as that guy because when you was in Golden State, they didn't validate you as that guy, and you felt like they're not giving me the respect I should get. You want the respect of an MVP, but you want to be a scorer. That's at least that's what you've shown to me. And some people ain't gonna agree with that, but that's what I see. I don't see him filling up the stat sheet. I mean, assists, yeah, because it's offense, but rebounding, defensive rebounds, things like that. Other things that affect the game that your man Ewing did. Ewing get key blocks. He used to get key blocks, buckets, the right pass, anything. That's why Patrick Ewing was in the MVP controversy year after year because he did so many valuable things for the Knicks. But then you go to Brooklyn and you get upset because y'all don't win. You get upset because Kyrie's not there. You get upset because James is out of shape. And you want that respect. You want that MVP respect. But you don't want to do it on the court. You want to score. And so when things don't go right, and here's the thing, Gerard, number one about Kevin Durant with me. Well, not number one, but let me add this. It's crazy to me. This is just my opinion. He wants, to me, he doesn't want what Golden State did for him, which is validate him as a scorer, mainly a scorer. But I think the validation that he wants in Brooklyn, he had it in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, he did have it in
Oklahoma City. Right. You leave Oklahoma City to go to Golden State because you couldn't get it done in Oklahoma City, and you saying whatever he said, he couldn't win. Everybody want to blame Russ. Some people blame Russ. Some people want to. You go to Golden State, okay, everything is there. Like Shannon Sharp said, you got a hierarchy. Everybody's doing the dirty work. Well, all you got to do is score and get the shine. You get that. You get 2 rings. You go to 3 championships. They don't validate you as the guy that you should have been in Oklahoma City. You go to Brooklyn and you want to be validated. You go to Brooklyn because you want to be that guy. You get to Brooklyn, adversity comes, and now you want to be traded because things ain't going right. Because you want to go back to being that validated guy, MVP, in Oklahoma City. So I say that to say this. I think he's too emotional. I think he won't be what Brooklyn needs him to be. That's that solid MVP guy. I think he'll show you games of it. He'll show you that he can carry a team from now and then. But when adversity hits, he don't want to be that guy like LeBron. He doesn't want to be that MVP guy. And I think Kyrie is actually a Robin to him, but Kyrie needs a guy like LeBron, a solid guy. So when he's going through his episodes or when he has a guy that can be solid. And I don't think Durant is that guy. And I don't think Durant is that guy you can count on. Again, I go back to adversity. His track record shows that he always finds something to be upset about. So I think Brooklyn gets to the playoffs just like they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go out in the first round again. Now, I'm not going to say they are, but based on the things I just told you about those three guys, and those three guys are supposed to be your guys. I just don't see it. I don't trust them.
I won't lie. I wouldn't be surprised. I have them going because I felt like I have them going to the finals only because I feel like everyone has something to prove. I feel like Kyrie has something to prove. Him playing better is only going to make Durant play better. I feel like Ben Simmons wants to get rid of that criticism. TJ Warren coming back from injury, want to show people that he's still the same TJ Warren. Joe Harris is coming back from injury. He wants to be part of this thing. I think they just it's going to be a good year for them, man. But if they do lose, I wouldn't be surprised either. Because I do think they lack defensive intensity. But I do think Simmons is going to be able to patch a lot of the holes because he's one of those multifaceted players that affects the game. He's like Draymond Green. He's like Draymond Green. Like he just affects every part of the game because he's so intelligent. He paid attention to detail. It's freaking. They just always in the right spot. He's that glue for every team. Needs that glue. And he's that glue.
I mean, I hear you, and I
Simmons is the glue for them.
I like the fact that I don't know if you're showing the love because they in the Big Apple, but I like the fact that you're so optimistic. I mean, it's really surprising to me that you're so optimistic. But
I don't like Durant though. Let's get that right though. Like I respect him as a person, his game, but I don't like him as a athlete, man. It's just
I mean, it
his
sounds
vibe,
like you do.
man.
I mean, you being I mean, I'm surprised. It sounds like you do because you being optimistic, and it's like, according to you and everybody in New York, and I'm giving you a little bit of, you know, I'm giving you a little bit of, you know, shit on here a little bit. You know, I'm surprised.
No. But that's that OG in me that being 40 above 40 now, where I could, you know I hate somebody or hate something, but I had to, you know, respect the facts. Respect the facts. Like Jay-Z. I think it was Jay-Z who said women lie, men lie, numbers don't. And you see their numbers, man. Like you can't sit here and, you know, so
I mean, I get what you're saying. Because at the end of the day, even Ben Simmons, for what he does, they are great basketball players. And I get what you're saying. If they're able to do outside of what was been going on, if they're able to do what they've shown us they can do, they should be in the top of the East. But I just don't. I mean, listen, man, I don't trust the fact that these three guys, mentally and emotionally, man, they're not solid guys. I mean, part of the reasons why Golden State can win is because they thrive in those areas.
Yeah.
They're not the strongest. They're not the fastest. But they don't get rattled if they go on a losing streak. They don't get rattled if they get beat, blown out. You know, they don't get rattled. And
they don't.
Be the reason why Durant, right. And they don't let emotions get to them like that. And so, I mean, would you rather have in the long run? We talking about winning. We talking about talent and lack of emotion or emotional intelligence versus not that much talent, but rock solid. I mean,
I think it's a lack of discipline with them. I think they.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. It falls all in the same bucket, right?
Lack of my thought from the outside coming in though, I feel like they don't want to be coached hard. Like you don't ever see them with like a tough coach because I don't think they want to be coached hard. Give them Popovich, give them a Brown from back in the day, the Detroit Pistons. Give them someone who's going to challenge them and
I don't even think them guys would last. I don't think they last with mentally tough coaches. I don't think they last with Popovich.
But I think they haven't developed that type of grit that Popovich instills in the dudes, you know?
Right. You're right.
I think they rely on their talent, their reputation, and the calls they're gonna get from the refs just because they name.
Well, I mean, listen, I get it, man. I mean, you're right. Optimistic. You're optimistic about it, and you're right in terms of what's on paper. They are offensive, you know, force. And then Ben Simmons he's one of the best defenders in the league. Whether I believe in him or not, he is. But anyway, I hope you're right, man, because it really at the end of the day, I like to watch them guys play. You know what I'm saying?
It's good for the sport.
It is. It is.
Sport. And I just don't
like
trust I want to see Zion, man.
Right.
I want to see Zion come out the West.
Right. You're right. Well, I mean, you're right. But let's go, man. Listen, I've been excited to hear your point about this, man. Let's head over to the Garden, man. Let's talk about Knicks, man, because at the end of the day, man, listen, I got a lot of respect for the New York Knicks. And what I mean by that, the times that we grew up in the 90s, they just couldn't get past the greatest player or arguably the greatest player of all time. But I love the grit and the toughness. I'm a big Pat Riley fan. But it's been a lot of stuff going on in the Garden the last couple of days, man. You got these trade talks, these free agencies. We got scenarios. So, man, let's talk about your Knicks, man. Let's talk about what's being said. Let's talk about what's going on, what's brewing in the Garden, man. What you got for me?
I'm gonna tell you how all this stuff started anyway, man. Because I think for years they've been lining this up because Donovan Mitchell used to be a client of Leon Rose when he was the agent. But what you call it, that Gobert trade, Rudy Gobert trade, man, 5 first-round picks, man. That I think was the downfall of this whole summer when it comes to getting this trade done. Because there's an expectation now that, you know, the Knicks should give up more than, you know, what, you know, Minnesota gave up to get Gobert because it's a different caliber of player.
Yeah, now for everybody that's listening that don't know, the casual fan, what he's talking about is Rudy Gobert, who used to play for the Jazz. I think would he get traded to Minnesota?
Yeah, traded to Minnesota.
Right? And what was it? You said 5 picks, right? What was
5 picks? 5 picks. Patrick Beverly. It might have been Beasley and a couple other players from Utah.
That's right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and then
all right.
It's from there. From there, it went to the whole Knicks. He wanted like 7 picks, and I'm like 7 picks, like, and they were at the beginning. We're talking about Obi Toppin, IQ, Fournier, and I think it was McBride. It could have been or Cam Reddish or something like that. And I was like, first of all, we all know Donovan Mitchell's nice, but there's only maybe 1 or 2 players in this league that you're giving all that up for. That's probably Embiid and LeBron, and maybe Joker.
Right.
You know, those are those generational talents. And Steph Curry, my fault. I disrespected my man Steph. But those the generational type of pieces. And nah, I couldn't do it. So they've been going back and forth because I think the other issue is you got a veteran GM who's been a GM probably for almost close to 20 years, if not more. And
we talking about Danny Ainge?
Danny Ainge. And then you have your rookie GM right here who's only been in the league for 3 years, who was an agent who didn't even go the traditional front office route of going through the different phases of a front office, learning about the different areas, or being a former coach or, you know, something of that nature. He came from just being an agent. And I think he also wants to show, because this is to the league. You assembled all these picks. You made all these moves waiting for the moment when a star was going to become open. What you going to do with this now? Then you have Ainge that just fleeced it, you know, Minnesota. Now over here, like, I got this rookie. I'm going to get him. And now Rose got to say, if I let him get me, the whole league is going to get me. Everyone's going to know what it is. It's like, yo, you punked me at school and took my lunch money. Now everyone's going to punk me in school and take my lunch money type of thing. So I think you have 2 people like, I'm going to draw the line here. And this is what it is. I'll give you a combination of you know, Obi Toppin, Fournier, and 4 draft picks. You know, that but 2 of them are going to be protected. So that's the other thing. So there's difference between unprotected first round picks and protected. They want all the Knicks unprotected picks, meaning that if the Knicks, you know, 1 through 10, they can't protect it. Now everything is open, and they can have that in the trade. So the crazy thing is he doesn't want to give all that up. So then there's been talk about, hey, we want Quentin Grimes now, you know, and the Knicks were like, from my understanding, it was an article saying, I think it was from Berman, saying that Tibbs prefers Grimes over RJ Barrett. So he doesn't want Grimes.
Right. And I want to ask you about that. So let me ask you this. If you're New York's GM, which is Rose, how do you get this deal done? What do you think is reasonable as far as dealing with Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell? Because I personally think, I told you this the other night, I think for the city of New York, I think the only thing that y'all have been missing is a superstar. I think y'all have had a lot of pieces and draft picks, and for whatever reason, y'all haven't been able to land a major superstar, and it's disappointing to me because y'all have the most historic arena in basketball. And some people might even say just an entertainment period. Madison Square Garden. It's New York City. It's the largest city in the United States. It's the home of playground basketball. Basketball is big in New York City. It's the capital of like basketball. I mean, some people might disagree. Philly, there's other cities and all that, but what does it take in your eyes, or what would you do to get this deal done? Who do you send? What do you send? And tell me why whatever you send, Utah should accept. How does that help Utah? Or how do you sell Utah what you're trying to send?
Well, Utah wants the best trade, and you got to think about it like this: you're rebuilding. You're trying to get all these draft picks because you're going a different direction.
Right.
Your man Donovan Mitchell, you try to
Team.
go in a different direction. You don't want him there because you're going to be stuck like the Knicks in that purgatory phase where you're not bad enough to lose a lot of games, but you're not good enough to beat anybody.
Something
You know,
happened.
and I think that if that happens, they'll never get one of those top picks. This is supposed to be one of the deepest drafts. Actually, the next couple of years is supposed to have some really deep drafts with some good talent, and I
Right.
think that's what he's trying to build from. Um, with that being said, I see three packages that can work for him, and I think could work for the Knicks. One package for me would say, if you want RJ and you're going to force me to give you RJ, I'll give you RJ Fournier. If you need a third person, I'll throw in, McBride or maybe IQ.
Like you,
I
right?
don't want to give an IQ, but I'll throw in one of those, right?
Right.
And I'll give you two unprotected and two protected. And
Okay.
I say that because one, um, I feel like you're getting a number three pick back who's ascending, who averaged 20 points a game
Right.
last year. You get the Fournier, you get some salary relief, and then I feel like it's fair compensation. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's worth four unprotected unless you taking Fournier back, McBride, and whoever else I'm trying to get off the team. But I
Right.
should be able to keep my pieces. If I'm giving you four or five,
Right.
then that's what you're not getting RJ, you're not getting Grimes, you're not
Right.
getting Obi.
That
You
makes
know,
sense. That makes sense the way you break that down in terms of that's very appealing to me if I'm Utah. I mean, you're right. I'm rebuilding if I'm Utah. I'm breaking everything up. I got rid of Gobert. I'm trying to get Donovan Mitchell out of town. So yeah, I can understand it. Okay, that's your first package. Give me the second one.
the second package, I'm probably giving them Obi Toppin and Fournier, and I say Obi because he's not getting that much playing time behind Randall. We already got three centers, and playing Randall and Obi together, I don't know if they could defensively handle anything. I would say defensively handle anything for Tibbs because if it was like D'Antoni, he wouldn't care. He would just play
Right.
them and would just outscore you. But Tibbs is different. You don't play defense, you don't play.
Mm-hmm.
But I would do that package with three unprotected and one protected.
Protected. Right.
Yeah, and I'll give them that. So, and if they didn't take it, I'll walk away from that one. And my last one was the one I was telling you about, where I'd rather give them, you know, anywhere between four unprotected with two protected or two or additional second rounders, and just one of the players like either Grimes, IQ, um, and that's it.
So do you
So,
think what's your favorite one out of that one? If you had your way as a Knicks GM, is it the first, second, or third package you
so
just named?
I'm gonna say it's the first, and I'm gonna tell you why it's the first. You have RJ Barrett who's up for the max. Um, this is why I get in an argument with a lot of Knicks fans. They be praising him like he's the next coming of Jesus Christ. So his 3-year numbers are the same thing as Kawhi Leonard's and Jimmy Butler's. He's gonna be better. He's gonna be better. He's one of the best defenders in the league. Like there's all that extra stuff. I'm like, come on, man. He played 30 good games. Second half of the seasons when he showed up. And I said, even then it wasn't efficient. I also felt like he was playing selfishly. There was a lot of games where I felt like he was looking to score and he
Right.
wasn't looking for his teammates. And it's a
Right.
difference of
I agree.
like you getting buckets in the flow of the game, and but when you forcing it and you coming down, and I could count like you just had four straight possessions, you took four straight shots. Like that's not making someone better.
Right.
Um, I think the other thing is, yeah, so is like you about to get a max, and I think a max is what did what Garland get? I think it was 180 something or 160 something.
You talking about in Cleveland?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
RJ, I think RJ would get slightly a little bit more than him, and he's not better than him. And I can't guess on the future when I know someone's already a star, already an all-star at least, going to go to the all-star game. I think Donovan Mitchell falls anywhere between top 5, top 15 in the league.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's times he's top 10. Like that playoff series when he averaged like 40 something points a game against Denver or something.
Right.
Like he shows up in the playoffs. That and players like that, they're not common, And he was 12th in the league in scoring last year, or ninth for 12, something like that.
Top 15 somewhere in there.
Yeah, definitely top 15. And I think he's worth it, man. I think that there's no 2-3 picks that's going to be better than him or impact the game that he's going to impact right now if you're not getting a top 5, top 7 pick in the league. Like so in the Knicks.
So that package the one that you like, I think that was the first package you said. Was it
Fournier, RJ Barrett, 2 unprotected.
2 unprotected and 2 protected, right?
2 protected, yeah.
Okay, let's say that happens. Let's say the trade goes through. What does your starting lineup look like? And where does the Knicks, if everything works out? I mean, of course, there's going to be injuries. There's going to be things that things that go on during the season that you have to deal with. But if everything works out the way you think it could, if that package goes through, what is the starting lineup, and where does the Knicks finish in terms of the East? Your what you project. Tell me the starting lineup first, and then tell me where you think the Knicks finish.
Robinson at center, Randall at the 4. Brunson, Donovan at the guards. And then if Tibbs was to let it happen, I think Cam Reddish could be the small forward, but I think he'll give it to Grimes because Grimes is the better defender right now. He's the more active defender because I think people misconstrue Cam Reddish. Everything looks easy for him. So it looks as if he's not trying, even on offense.
So their starting lineup is Robinson at the 5. I'll make sure I get this right. Julius Randle at the 4. Of course, Bronson. Who's the other guard?
Donovan Mitchell.
And
Cam Reddish.
You're not starting RJ?
No. RJ's part of the trade.
Oh, RJ's in the package. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So you are okay with giving RJ away.
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm okay with it. Because
tell me that because that's I didn't anticipate you wanting to give RJ away in that package. Go ahead.
I had to really think about it and say Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Brunson, and RJ all need the ball in the kind of same type of way, either in the ISO or the pick and roll. RJ will hit some corner threes here and there, but he's not as effective to the game when he's just standing in the corner. And I just don't like that fit, like all 4 of them. I feel like Grimes is different. Grimes is a shooter. And Grimes, at the same time, he's also someone who doesn't need the ball to create offense. Same thing with Obi Toppin. Those 2 generate offense because they're always moving. They're always in the right places. And you don't have to run plays for them. But they still know how to be effective and efficient to get their own bucket and get scores by using screens, just by playing smart. And I just feel like if we're going to be seeing spin moves from Julius Randle all day, turning into double teams, we'll see RJ going straight line and can't hit a layup. What's his name going left to Jalen Brunson, but not all the time. Like Jalen's probably like the toughest dude on the team to me. He's like the Chauncey Billups. And I think what's his name will bring that like that score mentality to us, Donovan Mitchell, man. I just think we'll be top. We'll be 5. I'm gonna say 5 for now, and I'm gonna say 5 for now because I'm gonna say.
Now, Miami. Who the 4? Yeah, okay. I was about to say who the 4 teams is better than you. Go ahead.
I don't want to say. I say the legitly better is Milwaukee. I don't think Boston is. I think Boston is the best team outside of Golden State when it comes to playing together.
Right.
Are they more talented than?
Well, hold on. Let me stop you there because hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm trying to justify why I put Brooklyn. This is why I'm trying to justify why I
Okay,
put
but
Brooklyn.
hold on, wait.
Uh-huh.
When I say give me the top 4 teams, I'm talking about the playoffs.
The playoffs, yes. I'm
So
giving
who's
you
the
the
4 teams that's ahead of y'all? You said number 5, and I
right.
think 5 is reasonable if it works out.
Okay. So I'm gonna say
Give me the 4 teams right now. If the playoffs start, the Knicks are number 5. Who's ahead of them? Give me the 4 teams. Because you
so
finna go off on the deep end on this Boston thing, man.
no. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say it's the Bucks,
Milwaukee,
Boston,
Boston,
Miami,
Miami. That's 3.
and Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay. And you and
I think we
okay.
could beat Atlanta. I actually think we're more talented than the Celtics,
Y'all
pound for
could be.
pound,
So you
pound for
saying
pound.
you think y'all better than the Sixers? You don't believe in the Sixers?
I don't believe in the Sixers because I think that at the end of the day, unless Maxey turned it into some like at least an All Star this year, I don't believe in them. I don't
Okay.
believe in. I don't think that they have the fight. You know, I look at Harden, and Harden is not Harden anymore, man. He's Clark Kent right now.
He
He
ain't
Clark
hard,
Kent.
man.
He Clark Kent. They took his powers
Man,
away,
he
man.
ain't hard, man. He can't stand hard, man. I knew that. That's
Took
why I
his
wanted to ask you
powers
about
away.
Philadelphia.
They took his powers away, man.
Oh my God, man. He hates
Man.
Philadelphia. I understand. I mean, that's not a
I like
bad.
Philly. I like Philly. I just don't. I just
It's
don't
just Harden,
think they'll
man.
be that good. I think
Yeah.
Chicago's a tier under us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. By you telling me that, and
Mm-hmm.
you saying that RJ, you don't mind sending RJ for that package deal with those picks.
I don't
Is
mind, and
is it
it's his contract year. Like I'm not paying him the max, so it's a win-win. We get the better
so
players.
by you willing to do that, are you saying or you concluding, and you may not, I'm just asking you this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think RJ underperformed the time he's been? By you doing that trade, are you saying that RJ Barrett underperformed for the New York Knicks in
I
his
don't
first?
want to say he. I don't want to say he underperformed. Few reasons. We had three different. He played under what? Three different coaches.
Right.
You know, so I can't say he underperformed. I actually think he performed admirably on some like he was a G about it. He started out playing point guard for us with Fizdale. You know
So
what I mean? And that
so you're not saying he underperformed. You're just saying with Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't work.
with Donovan Mitchell, I no, it can work. Don't get it wrong.
I mean,
I
if
just don't want
RJ
to see that.
stays with Donovan Mitchell,
I
are
think
you
he could
saying it?
work. I'm saying RJ's good enough, and he's good. He's an ascending player. I don't know how good he'll be. Sometimes I look at him and I see Richard Jefferson, and then no, I'm serious. And other times I look at him and I see Kenyon Martin, and I'm talking about two consistently good players that are are just below all stars, but they're good. Like
Right,
they're not an all star, but they're good. You get what I'm
good
saying?
player.
Like they'll hit you
Right.
with games where you might even get a 40 from Richard Jefferson or a 40 game from Kenyon Martin, and you want to cheer for them because they got that John Starks mentality. Like I'm
They'll,
I'm gonna make a name for myself type of
they'll
thing.
show you
But
flashes. Right. They'll show
but
you
he's
flashes.
not it. But he's
Right.
not him. He's not
Right.
him. You get what I'm saying? It's like
Right. Right. I'm just surprised, man. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying with that package. I just thought that, I thought you would want to hold on to RJ because I know
I
you.
just
I
feel
mean, you
like
made me. I'm not gonna lie. You made me a believer of RJ. I didn't believe in him. I didn't.
mm-hmm,
I had a lot of question marks about him simply because he was so young. I gave him some rope because, again, he came out after his freshman year, and I thought
mm-hmm,
I gave him a little bit longer time in terms of his maturation process because he was a freshman.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't think he could consistently put together the scoring that I thought he could do. But he made me a believer, man. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what system fits with him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year you said something about him, possibly Zion coming to New York. Um, I mean
But that's that. But
yeah. I mean that probably could work, but Tibbs, man, and young
mm-hmm.
players. I mean, I don't know. That's why I was asking you. I'm like, man, is that an indictment on how you really felt about RJ? or it's just the fact that it just
Nah,
makes more trade sense.
I
It
think it
makes
makes more
more trade
trade sense because I tell people too. This is another conversation I was having. We still got pieces where we could make a move at the deadline. Derrick Rose is going to be wanted by a veteran team. You know what I mean? A veteran team will give you a first round, and a team like, let's say, Phoenix, who Chris Paul always gets injured, he's the perfect fit for a team like Phoenix going to the playoffs, or Denver, or a team like that, or even Milwaukee. He'll be a fit with Drew Holiday and Middleton and Giannis out there at the same time. Like, teams like that will make a trade and Knicks get a first rounder if they right there on the cusp about to win the championship or could just be a little bit better.
right.
Um, and and honestly, I think Cam and Grimes can give you close to what you're gonna miss with him.
Right,
And
right.
I actually think Cam is more talented as a basketball player. I just feel like he's never really gotten a true shot. But I just also think Richard Call is one of those players who have that grit about him, RJ. So that's the difference between RJ and a lot of players too. Why I don't want to give him up is because RJ's gritty, man. He's a throwback to like the '90s where like he brings it every single night. He doesn't get injured. He doesn't take nights off. He guards the best player. Like I gotta respect that. But I just feel like you can't give him the max. Have Brunson down there making, max money. You have it freaking Randall making max money, and you have what's his name getting prepared for a super max, and he's already making max money. That's four players that you have almost what 400 million, close to 500 million invested in them. You
Yeah,
can't have RJ and build a team like that. So
right,
you might as well just get rid of RJ. You have 2 years on Grimes, so you could just pick up team options. So you don't have to pay Grimes anytime soon. You get to see what Cam can do this year, and if you feel like he's trash, then you send him out at the halfway mark of the season, or you don't sign him back. You release him and turn him into Sexton. Go find a
right,
team. Go try. You know what I mean? Like, but
right.
you can't pay all those people that money. And if you do, then you got to find a way to get rid of Randall, and you got to find a way to make sure that Fournier's contract came off because Rose, we could cancel Rose contract anytime too after the season.
Right, right,
So
right. Well, man, I appreciate that breakdown, bro. I like that. I like what you presented there. I think it's a lot of validity in what you're saying. I in particular, I mean, that's why I asked you, man. I know you the expert on the Knicks, and I think you spot on with what you're saying. Um, I do think they need to get the deal done. I think
mm-hmm.
you guys need a superstar. I think Donovan Mitchell is the type of superstar that helps. I didn't realize how athletic he was. I remember I told you that I didn't know how short he was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for him to be doing what he's doing and he's not that tall, that's incredible. I do think he needs a new atmosphere. I think he's done his time in Utah. I think he's pushed Utah as far as they can go, as far as what they have around him or what they had around him. I think the fact that they've gotten rid of Gobert, who's a defensive anchor, I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
multiple time defensive player, all defensive team, tells me that they're going to start over. And I think it's only right that they let Donovan Mitchell test the market. I think New York is perfect for him. I think he
Yep,
needs
I think
that.
it's
Yeah, I think he needs that big city love. I don't think he
and
got the love
he'll
he
be
deserved in Utah. And I don't know if
and
Utah is even capable of showing him the type of love that he needs. I think
and
he's
I think
got the
that he'll become a superstar here. I think he
right.
will
And
become a superstar.
I think he's got the toughness that New York requires. I don't think he gets rattled by the media. I think he can take on criticism when it's needed. I think he displays New York's hard hat 1990s Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, get
Mm-hmm.
up every day, grind, get in your
You give
face.
me app right now. You got me checking my phone like, yo, this
Right,
ain't
right.
gonna do that. Like,
And
come
so
on, man.
I think he's a perfect fit for New York in that sense. And he's a guard,
Yeah.
great
And
guard.
when's the last time we had a guard like that?
Right,
Like we
right,
had
right,
Allen Houston coming off screen shooting jumpers.
right,
Sprewell was probably the last slashing guard we had, and he was all right hand.
right. And again, like I said, man, I think he's perfect. Um, I'm not gonna say perfect, but I think it fits. I think
And I
I think
think
I think you guys need that. You guys need a bona fide, hard nosed superstar, not just any superstar.
But on top of that, I feel like Brunson's game complements his. The only
Exactly.
thing, we'll have a short backcourt, but how many backcourts are going to be able to guard us, man?
Well,
And the
and
pick and roll
Bronson,
with
to me,
Robinson's
Bronson,
going to live.
right. And to me, Bronson, just like Donovan Mitchell, they're tough inner city guys to me with that mentality of we might not do good tonight shooting wise, but we're gonna play hard and we're gonna play with pride and we are New York City guys in terms of toughness and hard hat. That 90s feel. Like when you come in here, it's gonna be a war.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's perfect, man. I'm actually rooting for you guys. I mean, I be hating sometimes, but I ain't gonna lie. I would like to see that. I would like to see Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. I would like to see what that looks like. And
yeah, I want to too.
I think too, I'll go out on the limb and say this. I think they'll surprise a lot of people in the East. If that team works out the way it could work out, meaning that Tibbs understands what needs to be done. Those guys fit Tibbs' personality, tough, gritty. They don't take any days off. That could be a team where they could be in the middle of the East, or even if they're at the bottom of the East, I think they make the playoffs. But on any given night, and you couldn't say this a lot about the Knicks in the last couple of years. Any given night, I think they can beat anybody in the East.
Yeah.
On a regular season game. Now, I don't know about a series, but I think any given night you can catch Milwaukee slipping. Any given night, it'll be a dogfight with Miami just because how Miami is built. But any given night, that backcourt with that team, if all works, can beat everybody. Look, thank you, man. I think you spot on about them New York Knicks. I think that'll work. We didn't get a chance to talk to y'all today about, we're going to do this on the next episode, but we're going to talk about Jake Paul and is he good for boxing? Because I got a lot to say about Jake Paul. I know we talked about it before we got on air, me and Cole, but we're going to get into that in the state of boxing. We got a lot of things we want to talk about in terms of some Serena Williams stuff. Of course, the NBA. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to break down the different conferences, the AFC East, AFC North, AFC West, AFC South. Same thing with the NFC. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, y'all, man. So y'all don't want to miss us, man. We getting these episodes out, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. Like us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and check us out on Twitter with C-Bake, Debate with C-Bake. I'm your host, Charles Baker, a.k.a. C-Bake. My co-host, Gerard Cole. Once again, Rude Boy, thank you, man. We appreciate you. Support us, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. And, hey, that's it, man. Hey, Gerard, keep it coming in New York, man. We appreciate you. From all the way down to Houston, Texas, the 4th largest city in the nation, to all my people who checking us out, Most Serious family, all my East Coast family, of course, all my family in Most City in Houston, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for everything. I want to thank Chuck again, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. I love it what's going on in Most Serious. And we're going to keep this thing moving. We out.